Hello once again, everybody, and welcome into the Heat Index. I am Timothy Cyphers, and I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart for all of the support, all of the listens, all of the feedback. I've heard from so many people, from family and friends to beat baseball players from around the league. I get just so many people. It's an overwhelming amount of support in such a positive way. And I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. What this is about for me is getting to know my teammates, so it's a selfish endeavor, and I'm okay admitting that, but it gives the world the opportunity to get to know my teammates and my friends and family as well. So I hope everyone had an awesome Thanksgiving. I'm sure everyone is super excited for the holidays coming up, and I hope everybody thoroughly enjoys those. I will do my best to keep uploading new episodes that can be found at Apple Podcasts or Buzzsprout.com or all over Facebook and other forms of social media and such. Just search for the Heat Index on Apple Podcasts or Buzzsprout.com. Look for Tim Cyphers on Facebook, and I will almost certainly accept a friend request, or it's a public newsfeed. So we share it everywhere, and it's because we want to get it out there, and we want to get the word out that we have the coolest beat baseball podcast in history. The most must listen to of all time, and with your host Tim Cyphers and my guest, we will have a blast, and I enjoy the fact that I know you will enjoy listening. I've so far interviewed Joseph Fleeks in episode 1, and episode 2 was a 2-guest momentous occasion for me. It was Ja'Cory Wiley, my on-field teammate, and Ashley Tillery, my on-field spotter. And it was just such a blast. I want to thank them for joining me and helping me out and helping me achieve my goals and such. So today we got Lee Rodriguez, a seasoned vet, but that seasoning is just so tasty, because that boy, man, that man has still got it. Oh boy, I can't wait. And what's cool is I look up to him in so many ways, not only on the field, but his family-oriented lifestyle and his work ethic, both on and off the field, his kind-hearted nature, and we're like-minded. We're both big wrestling fans. This isn't a wrestling podcast, but we talk about wrestling. This is a beat baseball podcast, but we don't only talk about beat baseball. So I want you to just sit back, ease the seat back, grab your popcorn, grab your listening ears, and just have a blast as we both get to know Lee Rodriguez on more of a deeper and more personal level. So without further ado, you are listening to the Heat Index. I am Timothy Cyphers. This will be Lee Rodriguez, and I want you to have fun starting now. All right, thanks for joining us on episode 3 of the wildly, worldly acclaimed, and I'm just kidding, but it's getting some good traction, some good support, but episode 3 of the Heat Index, and joining me this edition is Lee Rodriguez, long-tenured Bayou City Heat player. What's up, Lee?
Hey, what's up, Tim?
Thanks for joining me, man. I know it's kind of late, and I appreciate you taking the time.
No problem, man. Looking forward to it.
Yeah. So how is the off season going?
It's ups and downs, man, to be totally honest with you. I'm still nursing an injury from the tournament.
Oh, yeah. How so, hammy, or what was it?
No, I have a shoulder issue right now.
That shows how
still
good
going on.
Shows how good of a teammate I'm just so how's the recovery? You gonna be 100% by the time we get back to work?
To be totally honest with you, I don't know, because I've been going to physical therapy and going to see a chiropractor, and I've been doing this for 2 months now, and I've seen some, but not enough improvement. So I don't know what's going on, man. The doctor told me, diagnosed it, but when according to my chiropractor, he's like, this can take anywhere from 6 months, or it can take anywhere from 2 years to fully work itself out. So I don't know.
Well, take their advice, man. I didn't realize it was that chronic of an issue. So that's concerning selfishly as a ball player, but more importantly as your friend. So get better, follow their advice,
Uh,
and I know that's gotta be frustrating, man. I've been injured before, and I know the competitive fire that you have is a lot like mine. It's more than mine, and so I try to model myself after guys like you. So hang in there and just keep busting your ass, but be smart about it. You know what I mean?
oh, definitely, I'm working on it, man. Every day, every little improvement I get, it makes me feel better. So that's all I can do is keep working.
How was the how has the adjustment been to back to normalcy as far as the community goes? Are you I know you guys were resilient, and I know that you came together. Can you touch on that a little bit for me? And I'm of course talking about Hurricane Harvey.
Okay. Well, man, it was just great to see how the entire community came together. Just everyone working and supporting one another and just helping each other out. I mean, personally, we tried to help a few people out, and whether it's through just through some labor or through some other types of donations. We did whatever we did some, and but it was just great to see how the entire city is pulled together, and I mean, and to see not just the city, but to see everyone in the city, like whether it's just a normal Joe, normal citizen, and all the way to these athletes and all the sports organizations and everybody coming together with J.J. Watt and now the Astros. They just won the World Series. I had to plug that.
Oh yeah,
And how and how they won is like it seems like it was just good to hear that it's like they wanted to do it for us, and just it's just to have that strong sense of community, man. It's really good. It's a really good feeling as a human being, man, as a citizen of the city. To see everything come together.
for sure. And it's you don't want something so tragic to take place to unify or to bring people together, but it does at least lend the opportunity to see how much a community can, like I said before, be resilient. I remember in I mean, obviously there was Katrina in New Orleans in 2006, but or 2005, the mid 2000s. And but personally for me, I remember I was in the I lived in the town where the Boston Marathon bomber was captured, and obviously I was only a handful of miles away from where it took place in Boylston. So, the Red Sox go on and win a championship that year, and um, if we couldn't win it this season, I was so happy that it was the Houston Astros. So, did you make it to the
Uh,
parade?
Man, no, I had to work, man. I would have loved to have been there. It was nuts. Just looking at all the pictures and the videos and stuff. Oh man, it looked like it was amazing.
It
Yeah.
was, man. I've been to a few, and I won't say how many because I don't think it's fair. But so that was not called for. I'm sorry, but so
You know what? As much as I hate it, you got to give that your area some props, man, because I mean it's just unbelievable to think of the run the Patriots have been on, and then you throw the Red Sox in there after they won their first championship in many years, and they won another one, right? Yeah,
uh,
didn't they win two since the mid 2000s?
been three in the last like 13 years.
3 and 13 years. Okay, so and then you got the Bruins, and they won recently. And
Yep.
it's just nuts, man.
So
So
I
yeah,
will say,
you guys are a little spoiled in that regard.
oh, for sure. Oh yeah, man. I was on I went to a playoff rally, like a postseason rally, like send off thing in 2009 for the Red Sox, and was on a little news package for the like one of the local news stations, and that was all I could say. It's like we're so spoiled, you know what I mean? But I will say what you and your Houston Astros just did. I mean, of course they pulled off the trigger for the Verlander, which is huge. He's a battle tested warrior, but
Oh,
small
he
market.
he made the difference in the postseason.
Exactly, and the track record was why they pulled off that deal. But you guys got a lot of homegrown talent, and it's not exactly a small market because Houston's like what the fourth biggest city population
R-
wise in the country, but it
Yes.
is a
Yep.
as far as finances go. So I just consider that more impressive because we kind of have an open checkbook for, the Red Sox, so congratulations, man. You guys deserved it, but I mean, and that's not just because of the tragedy. You guys, everyone should get the chance to see that one of their teams win.
Oh man, it was one of the best feelings in the world, man. I ain't gonna lie.
That's so awesome.
And even up until, because of the way the series went, up until the ninth inning when the Dodgers were at bat, there was still that feeling of I hope this they close this out. There was no like, oh, they're gonna do this, because you just couldn't call it with the way all those games went. They were so back and forth.
It was one of the most theatrical series ever. I maintain that they like each game singularly lasts too long, but that's a baseball thing, not a World Series thing. So
right,
that's a whole different podcast. So,
but you got to admit though, when you look at not only how they won, but who they beat, and I'm not even trying to talk trash here, but who they beat. They beat the Red Sox, they beat the Yankees, and they beat the Dodgers. Three of the most historic teams in baseball that have been around for years, and the teams that have spent a ton of money to bring in talent to win another championship. So, I mean, it's just amazing that they were able to go against three big teams, and people were kind of counting out the Red Sox and the Yankees. I mean, they played well, but not to the caliber of the Dodgers or even the Indians, that the Yankees beat. But man, to see them go through those three teams and how all those series went, oh man, it was great to see.
That's remarkable. I hadn't even really thought of that, because those three franchises that they did knock off are in fact three of the most storied franchises. So to win your first World Series as an organization against like the juggernauts of Major League Baseball, that's rather impressive. I hadn't even thought of that. Now tell me about all right, so you got like the Altuves, the Correas, you got the Springers. I think Springer's my favorite, but I think Altuve, in my opinion, is the most gifted. Who of those three is going to make the biggest long-term impact?
Long-term what?
Long-term impact, long-term consistency. Who's going to be the best?
It's going to be Altuve. It's going to be Altuve.
Got all the tools, right?
Can't. Yeah, he's got everything. I mean, you just can't. To see that guy work every year in and year out, and to finally get all the fruits of his labor, this year with the title and MVP and everything, that guy's just going to continue to get better.
Agreed.
Yeah, I think he's going to be the one, and man, the Astros are going to be like the Red Sox and the Yankees and the Dodgers, though, because they're going to have to start paying some people.
They're going to have to start paying?
Yeah, they're going to have to start paying because they have one of the lowest payrolls in baseball.
I know, man. I know that. That's why, like I said, it's super impressive what they've done. So let's move on to the Rockets. I mean, you're a basketball guy, right? At least somewhat.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so, yep. I mean, this is going to be, I'm going to tell you what my point is going to be, and then that way we can just understand. It's that Houston has had a hell of a year as far as their sports and professional sports teams go. I mean, so the Houston Rockets make this splash after splash in the offseason, bring in Chris Paul and to add to James Harden. Who else did they add?
Oh man, Paul Tucker, PJ Tucker.
PJ Tucker, that's right. Melo went to the Thunder, that's right. But
right.
So I mean, just the long-term stability of your team's success are starting to come to fruition. It seems like you guys are positioned to have a long-term run of consistent success. Because then you look at this is going to be one of my favorites here. Is that's the addition of Deshaun Watson to that already beastly defense. When healthy, of course. What is
Right.
Deshaun Watson then? I know he tore the ACL, and hopefully he gets a speedy recovery, because even as a Pats fan, I want competition. I want the league to be good. What is the
Hmm.
addition to that city? His being drafted so high and coming in and making that immediate impact. What has that meant, especially in the time and the goings ons of things in Houston right now? What has that meant to the city and to you personally?
Well, similarly for the city, man, to it was kind of caught up in the whirlwind of everything that was going on with the Astros too. I mean, and to see him just put that franchise on his back and to just play so well with the same parts that other quarterbacks or players were playing with, but see him take it to, I dare to say, an elite level. To see him take it there, to carry that franchise. I mean, it was just amazing to see, for him to come in, make the impact that he did on the field and off the field. Because I don't know if you know, but he gave his first game check to some of the, I believe they were Texans employees, who had lost everything or lost a lot of their personal goods in the hurricane. And so, he's a very giving person, and to see him get back to the community, to see him just his team embrace him, to see how the league embraced him whenever he went down. I mean, that just tells you right there. He seems like he's not only a good person inside but out as well, man. He just he seems and it's good to know that when healthy, that guy's going to be a part of our team for the next 10 to 12 years easy.
Yeah. No, I mean, it's good because, you know, in my opinion, Brady, whenever the hell that ends, because it doesn't seem like he's slowing down, but, he's going to have to pass the
Right.
torch. I imagine it would be Russell Wilson, but if not, I think Deshaun Watson or, someone like Carson Wentz, those guys are really going to carry the league. So that's going to be super fun to watch. And, I have to admit, I'm not jumping on any bandwagons. You guys, don't need that. You don't need me. But I will say that because of my connection to you guys, I have another market to have a secondary interest in. And I'm
Oh,
Boston
there you
all.
go.
But like I said before, when the Red Sox were eliminated, I became the biggest, one of the, the biggest Bostonian Astros fan. You know what I'm saying? And
Hmm.
so I mean, I'm excited. I'm excited to be able to talk to you guys and have success in both markets, and that's going to be really really fun. Um, but I am at the same time, even though I said all that, I've had enough of your Houston sports talk. I want to talk about Bayou City talk in a minute, but first, I'm just kidding. But I first want to, you and I have a common interest, and I would almost say passion. I know I have a passion for it. It seems like you do, and your son does, and your wife even follows along, so that's really cool. But we're big wrestling guys. You know what I mean? And
Oh yeah.
um,
Yeah.
I've been using the AJ Styles phenomenal instrumental to come in and out of these podcasts. So
Hmm.
I thought that was apt because we some Southern boys, and all that. And
Right. Yeah.
so I mean that's not it was just perfect. And so I want to talk about that. You just went to NXT because Houston. We're recording this on Tuesday night, November 21st, and this was the fourth night of 4 straight WWE events in Houston.
Right.
You made it to NXT Takeover. How the hell was that?
Right. Oh man, it was freaking amazing. I don't know if I can cuss on your show, but I can't begin to tell you how awesome that show was. Everything from, we were unsure where we were sitting. We get there and we find out that we're really close to the ring, or closer than we've ever been, right?
Yep.
And then to see all those matches happen live, man, there was just so many big spots, so many, and not just big spots, but good matches, good quality matches, along with all the stuff that was going on. And I don't know if you know, but we also got to see Pete Dunne wrestle. It was a dark match that's going to air actually tomorrow night.
Oh, the championship UK match.
Yep.
Oh, word.
Oh man, and you're going to be in for a treat. That was a hell of a match, dude.
Okay.
Hell of a match.
Okay. I got the inside info. I'm happy. So don't tell me anything other than it was a good match because I'll watch it. Oh,
yeah. I'm not gonna say anything. So
wow, that's badass. So like, dude, the war game, like you and who won, you, your son, LJ, and Shelly, or just you and your son?
no, me, my wife, my son, a friend of mine, and actually two friends of mine, and a friend of mine took his son for the first time. His son is like 5 years old, and he had just recently gotten into wrestling, and he's like, man, if you guys ever go to a show, let me know, because he's been bugging me. I want to take him. He wants to go.
Yeah,
So I told him, like, back in the summer, I was like, look. Uh, for me, I always wanted to see an NXT show because of the quality of the takeovers that the shows they put on, the takeover shows.
for sure.
It's just top notch. And so I was like, I got to see that one. That was immediate. And he's like, well, just let me know. So we got with him at the end of the month before the tickets went on sale. Boom, we all went, and man, his son loved it. His son was just like in awe. And of course, my son just was nuts, man. And just to see the smile on his face, man, how he just lights up, and it's just amazing to be not only there at the show, but to just see how it makes him feel, man. It's just awesome.
Yeah, I mean, so I'm sort of jealous because war games, right? I mean, I don't know how many there have been. I just know there's hasn't been one in 20 years, and
Right.
I mean, that's history. You know what I mean? So, how is that? Like, you
Well,
get to share that with your family and watch something that hardly ever happens. Who knows when it'll happen again? I mean, scripted
exactly.
or not, whatever. It's violent and it's athletic and it's theatrical. How was that? Was it awesome? I mean, it was, right?
Oh yeah, it definitely was, no doubt. And I mean, again, just it's not just about all the big spots, man, because there were a bunch, but it's the story that they tell,
Mm,
and during the match, and it's just really different when you're there, being a part of the crowd, and to get caught up in the moment. It's just hard to explain unless you've been to a show like that, and you got to like the product. If you're just going to go to hang out, that's different. But if you're invested and you want to be there and you like the wrestlers involved, man, oh man, it's such an awesome feeling to be there.
yeah, I
So,
really I desire to go to an NXT event because those guys, like, the difference with them and the main roster and the guys that are mainstream is that they most of them haven't tasted the big show yet, and for
hmm
lack of a better term. So they're putting
hmm
on the show of their life, not knowing when they're going to get their opportunity and or the matches of their life. And I think, I haven't been there in person like you have now, but I think that's what probably helps make it such an amazing show and an amazing product, because these guys are just they're fighting for their careers, not like it's going to end, but they don't know when they're going to get their spot. So that's cool, like that desire and that that perseverance almost. So that's pretty cool,
hmm
man. I'm happy for it. What is the first event you remember going to?
Oh man,
Yeah.
I don't even remember what year it was, but it was here in Houston. It was for Mid South Wrestling, and I tell my son about this all the time, man, because I just there were so many big names in that promotion. Like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, Ted DiBiase,
Mm.
Rock and Roll Express, uh, oh man, Dr. Death, Steve Williams, Junkyard Dog. The list just goes on. So, I was younger. I don't remember how old I was, but and bugged my dad to take me to a show. And I wanted to go see the show because it was Hacksaw Jim Duggan versus Ted DiBiase in a coal miner's glove match. They put a coal miner's glove on a pole, and it was a cage match. And I was like, I got to see this match. And so, oh man, so much came from that show. Just because, again, you're a kid, you're in awe, and you get, and we were actually, as a matter of fact, we were pretty close there too. You got to see him bleed and all that stuff. But one of the funniest things was, I was young enough to where I believe wrestling was real, And my brother, who's older than me, kept telling me it's fake, it's fake, it's fake. And that's the show where I learned that wrestling was fake. I'm not gonna lie. And I was so disappointed.
How so?
Well, because it was a tag match between the Rock and Roll Express and the Midnight Express, and the guy threw one guy threw another guy into the ropes, and he bent over to do a sunset, to flip him over, sunset flip. Yeah. And when the guy, he stopped to kick him instead of going over for the flip, so he kicks him, and he completely missed him. I even saw it, totally missed him. And the guy stays there, bent over for a second, and then he falls back like he got hit. And I was like, he missed him.
It's like akin
to. Why did he fall? He missed him.
It's like out Santa Claus isn't real.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. And then my brother just looks over at me. He says, "I told you it was fake." I was like, all I could say was shut up. But that. Yeah, man, that was but it was a great show. That was awesome too. That was in a place here in Houston that's no longer here, and a local show. It's cheaper to get in, and it was just fun too, man. I got to go with my brother and my dad. So that was cool.
Who's the best heel in the business right now, or at least in the WWE?
Right now, oh man. I don't like where they're taking this character right now, but one of the people that I really like is Kevin Owens.
Okay.
Because that guy, he puts on a great match. To me, he puts on more good matches than he does bad. But to me, he's a total package in that he can put on a good match. And I just love his style of the way he just talks trash the entire match. And he can put on a promo. He can carry himself. He doesn't need anybody with him.
Right.
That's one of the guys that I like right now.
So I'm a big fan. I think the best heel, like my personal favorite heel is, and I don't know how you're going to react to this, but it's The Miz. Because
The Miz, yeah.
He's so hateable. And he's so good at it that, like, that's the point to me. I asked this young girl, or not a young girl, but a woman, a female wrestling fan, and I asked her, like, no, she asked me who I liked. I said The Miz. Like, one of the wrestlers I liked was The Miz, and she hates him, and I was like, that's the point. You know what I mean? Like
that's the point. Yeah.
that's why he's so good to me. But okay, best heel. Maybe not best heel because that's just too broad of a question, but who's your favorite heel character from your wrestling fandom?
Oh man, of all time, God, Doug, you're gonna make me think.
Again, not the best, but like who did you hate the most or appreciate their work the most?
Well, you know what? It kind of comes down to a couple of them, man. I mean, Ric Flair was one of them.
All right, that's what I think.
Because that guy, we kind of touched on it earlier, man. That guy did what he wanted, said what he wanted, he backed it up, and he put on, again, quality matches night in, night out, and there was just no BS. He did his job, and he was great at it. But one of the other ones that I actually really like, and I was kind of thinking about this, is Hollywood Hulk Hogan, and I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because to see Hulk Hogan be his all-American character for years, and to finally turn heel, and the way he did it, he reinvented himself again, and to carry a company because it was because of him and the NWO that put WCW on the map and actually overtake Raw. To see what he did and how he carried that company for a few years, to me that was amazing. And again, you want to talk about hated? He was just an egotistical, pompous ass. Sorry, and but there was just there was just he did it unapologetically. He carried he did it. He carried the company, and he was good at it. Right. And it was good to see him reinvent himself, man. I don't know. Those are just a couple. There's just so many.
Yeah, no. I mean, those were great. I mean, it's the most epic face turn of all time, probably, and heel turn of all time. And you almost wish John Cena would have done something like that. And I think that should.
But his character calls for it. You're right. His character, he's so different, like on a totally different level than any of the other wrestlers that they have on their roster right now.
Right.
Because whether he gets heat or he gets love, it doesn't freaking matter, because at the end of the day, you got to respect what the guy has done.
Oh, yeah.
But I really think, like you're saying, though, I really think that maybe a year or two ago, if he would have turned heel, it would have kind of been like a Hulk Hogan type thing.
That.
To where, he would have just, stayed up top for at least another 2 or 3 years.
There's no question, man. But it's hard to say they played it wrong, or he played it wrong, considering, his status. So, whatever. I mean,
definitely.
There's so many things I would do differently, but I still watch, so they're doing it right. So, whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So, so the thing about heels, I don't know why I asked about that. I'm more entertained by them these days, and that's probably why I asked about that. But I gotta ask you, who just tell me the most impactful character that you've experienced, and I'll tell you mine, and I'll tell you why. And it's kind of sappy, but it's fine.
Okay.
You first.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go. I thought you were going first.
Well, I will. Fine. Yeah, no, I will. The one that impacted me the most, and it doesn't mean it's my favorite. He's certainly one of my favorites. Is one of my favorite storylines, and it's surprising because it came during this incarnation, and it was the Daniel Bryan gimmick and story. Because it was I don't know, it was 2 or 3 years into my vision loss. And again, that's where the sappy part comes in. And it was just something that, I mean, I'm in my early 20s at this point, so I'm not deluding myself into thinking that it's real or anything, or that these are actually real things happening in real life. I know that, but there is something to be said about this guy who doesn't look like a traditional, A+ player. And,
right.
And he goes over at, Vince loves round numbers. So WrestleMania 30, he wins 2 matches against 3 of the all-time greats. So that resonated with me because of, the storyline, the build, it so many ups and downs in those 8-9 months. And I just loved it. It was, the perfect underdog story. And I'm not saying I'm any underdog, but I think I've personally stacked the deck against myself so many times that it's not apples to apples by any means, but it's the overcoming odds and persevering thing. That's the type of question I'm asking. Is it doesn't have to be nearly as sentimental, but what impacted you at least greater than other gimmicks, storylines, characters, that type of thing.
Oh man, this is a tough one because there's so many.
Well, I have time.
Moments in time. So, I'm going to need a little time to think on that one, man.
We'll circle back. That's fine. I think this is a good time to take a break, and I'm going to, just take a quick spot break to promote one of our teammates and do a good thing. And then we'll come back. We'll talk beat baseball. I'm going to ask you that question, and then, we'll take it from there. You are listening to the Heat Index, episode 3 with Lee Rodriguez. Please stay tuned, and we will be right back. What's up, everybody? You're listening to the Heat Index, the only current podcast about beat baseball, and it's covering Houston's very own Bayou City Heat. I am Timothy Cybers, not got an offer for you. You should go to Amazon.com and search for Vision to Dream. It's a children's book, but it's a story that can be translated to all walks of life, all ages. It's about an inspiring young man who was told he couldn't do something, and then he did it anyways because he found a way and he persevered. It's a story about perseverance. It's inspiring, and I think you should go buy that book right now. Amazon.com, Vision to Dream. Also Kindle books. It's going to be published by a new publishing house, but get the original copy right now before they run out. $9.99 on Amazon.com or Kindle books. Go buy it now. All right, we're back. Thank you so much for joining and listening to us on Apple Podcasts or Buzzsprout.com. Check out the Vision to Dream by Ja'Cory Wiley, one of my second episode guests. And I'm being joined tonight by Lee Rodriguez. And we had left off with him needing a second to think about a question that I had asked him, and I'm very interested in his answer. And that question was, what was impactful to you as far as maybe a storyline or just a character or any type of the wrestling thing? Because for people like Lee and I, it's a lot more than just dudes going out and flying around and hitting each other. And that's the question. So Lee, thanks for joining me. Do you have some thoughts on that question?
Yeah, I was, ever since I was a kid, I was trying to think about what drew me in, but really it's just always came back to the characters and how to see all the differences that they had, good and bad, and how they went against each other and the storylines they were telling, and then of course the action in the ring. And at the time, it looked so real, and it was almost like I looked at it in awe, so it was just. It just caught me at an early age, and it's just something that stayed with me my whole life. It's just the story, the action, the characters, and all the above, man.
Right. And so, I know there's certain areas of your life that have kept that prominent, and I know you want to touch on that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah, man. I mean, this is something that I really enjoy sharing with my son, and funny story is, I tend to used to hide this, and that we would watch it together all the time, but it's because of him. It's kind of making me not so much of a closet wrestling watcher. I bought a ton of wrestling shirts now, and he wears them all the time. I'm starting to wear them a lot, and it's just it's something that's really great, something fun to share with my son, and something that we both really enjoy.
You bet, man. And it's like, what's wrong with that? So, yeah, it's funny you mentioned the closet. Like, it was around the time of the story I shared that I started to just say F it, you know what I mean? And like, I am who I am, and I'm not going to attribute that to like vision loss, at least not directly. But I will say that in my 20s, I have become more comfortable with who I am, and then I've gone back to not being comfortable with who I am or what you know what I mean? But it's been a constant battle, but more times where I'm just like, this is who I am. These are the things I like. If you don't like me because of something I dig, well, then I don't want you to be a part of me anyway. So, it is what it is. And that's why I really liked you elaborating that. That was a great answer, because that kind of lends to us as to why, lends people the opportunity as to why we dig something. And it's like, and even if they don't understand it and still can't wrap their head around it, buzz off. You know what I mean? And, you like your things. I don't watch The Walking Dead, but I respect people that, it's cool. You know what I mean? Like, I have no problem. You know what I mean? So it's just hey, I like my thing, I do my thing, and what's cool is we get to like bond over it, which is really cool. And it's like we got to know each other on like a crash course sense. So to have that thing that drew us together in a like-minded way has kept us in touch and helped develop our relationship both on and off the field. So I'm really digging it, and I appreciate you talking about that with me, and I'm going to turn the page now, because it isn't a wrestling podcast, although I think you and I could do really well at that.
What's funny that you mentioned that. Yes, I think we could do really well, but I guarantee you my son would have to be on that, because he is like a wrestling encyclopedia. Insane.
You know what?
Insane.
I'm actually ashamed I didn't bring that up because LJ does know his crap, man. Like it was, in the week we spent together. I mean, that kid, I thought I knew a lot. I bet you did too. And then you see someone like him,
Yeah.
and you're like, all right, you know what? I don't know a thing. I'm by the end of the week, I'm asking him questions about things in the past because I'm kind of and the kid knows it, and the kid knows his stuff. And it's
Yeah, that happens. That happens a lot, man. He's like, no, it happened this way, and blah 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 blah. I'm like, okay, I get it.
that was like me with well, not only wrestling too, but like like stats for sports. You know what I mean? So he takes it to the next level though. And while we're on the subject, let's talk about some beat baseball stuff. But first, like what is it like, and what does it mean to you to have your immediate family so, your wife and your son so heavily involved in our team? Because I know for me that's humbling, and it's an honor, and it's a privilege. And I wonder, like, because I don't have any kids, I don't have a significant other. What is that like? Is that like what are those feelings? How does that present itself?
I don't really look. I guess the only way for me to say it is that like you said, it means a ton to me that they share this with me. That this is something that is, solely for me, but yet they have found a way to not only help me out, but to help our entire team out. My wife is a secretary. She does all the business stuff on the back end. With she helps with fundraising and getting everything coordinated. And to have my son go out, he'll to just do whatever, whether it's from shagging balls to bat boy work or just hanging out and being with the team. I mean, it just means everything to me, man. I mean, to have them go this year and see their first World Series. I shouldn't say first because we had the World Series here twice back in the mid to late 2000s. But to be there full on all day, totally immersed at the tournament, it's a whole different experience. And so they got to be there for that for the first time.
Wow,
So and
I didn't realize that. So again, I'm selfish in a lot of ways, so I want to let you know that that's cool. I got to be a part of a first. And
mhm.
wow, that's so bad. That's so badass. Because like now I want to, I already wanted to, but now I definitely have to have one, if not both of them, on at some point, because that's cool, and there's some stories to tell there. And I hope it was as impactful for them as they were on me, because I got to know them just as much, and they're very caring. And dude, he did your son did a hell of a job. Just because dude, we become, I don't know about you, but I sense a lot of us are this way. Like I become a needy diva when you put that blindfold on. You put me in a circle that I can't see. It's like I need my bat. I need my bat. And they put up, and you put up with that, and it's like I would be like, screw this guy. So it's like,
like get your own damn bat.
so, and it's cool because he's a a high school aged kid, and it's like young man, and it's like I don't know a lot of them that are gonna sit there and be like, yeah, I'm gonna help these bunch of blind guys play baseball for a week. But he did it, and he seemed like he really enjoyed it. And Shelly was super cool to get to know, and still continue to get to know. So I hope they hear this and know that, like, for me, and I know for everyone else, that they're totally and infinitely valued. And I want to give you one, a few, another moment or two to just expand on that, and because that's got to be really cool.
Oh man, well first of all, I just want to say thank you, man, because that means a lot to me, and it means a lot to them. Just to hear that that people are really appreciative and thankful for them being there, just for whatever little help they could be, for them to be there, and they. So I got to tell you a funny story. You said to expand on a little bit, but still to this day, man, after the tournament, to tell you what kind of impact that you guys had on my son, man, he still talks about the tournament. I wouldn't say every day, but all the time, and just all the guys on the team. Of course, he's known a lot of the local guys for years, right? But
Mm-hmm.
but to spend a lot of time with El Darnell, all the guys that are out of town, Tanner, Seth, all these guys, man. I mean, he takes away. He's very observant, and he takes away so much stuff, and he just, he'll just bring up things about either what happened or stories that were told, and he just, you could tell, that it had an impact on him because he just he's constantly talking about it or bringing stuff up about it, man. It was just great.
Yeah, that's if you could see the crap eating grin on my face right now, just because that's probably not the right way to put it, but I have a grin from ear to ear right now. I got goosebumps when you said that because that to me means we're doing something that is bigger. I say it as often as I can, that what we do and what we get to do, more importantly, is bigger than me and bigger than you and bigger than the individual. It is a community, and
yeah,
that's not exclusive to vision impaired athletes. It's a community because we could not do it without sighted people. And if your son can take away anything, then damn, I had a successful tournament, and so did the team. So that's awesome. That's impactful for me just to hear that.
Well, I also want to say this one last thing, but for him and my view on it too, and I think he's kind of carried that along, in that to me it's not just about friendship, but family, and you work together and you come together and you put forth all your effort to be there for your family, and it seems like he's kind of taken that mindset. You guys are much older than him, but it's like he'll do whatever he can because he sees you guys as family. It's just to see him out there, and there was to see him work his butt off out there, put all the time that he put in, and not once did he complain. That was the biggest thing. He's like, you could tell he was tired. You could tell, things were getting to him, but not once did he complain. He stayed strong. He stayed out there on his own accord.
Yeah.
He was there for everybody. That was just really impressive to me to see him just want to be there and to do all that he could.
And you know what, man? I like to tell the guests, the listeners, you guys on personal levels that we're warriors, right? And we go to war.
Oh, yeah.
And but it's time to start recognizing everybody that is involved in the tournaments and specifically involved in the inner workings of our team and every individual team throughout the league. It's
mm-hmm.
not just the on the field athletes that are
right.
warriors. Because everyone's got a dog in this race.
Plays his part.
Yeah, for sure, man. So they get a lot of love from me and clearly from you as well. The sighted volunteers, the family members, the people that make this go and this work. So thank you for that. And so I want to ask you about, was it vision loss or was it born vision impaired? What's the deal with that? I never got to ask you in Florida.
Okay. I've had a vision loss since birth. I was born premature, and my vision loss came from that. So, I was born like 3 months premature, so I was a tiny baby, but I was able to make it through, man.
So it's something you've dealt with your whole life.
Yeah.
Okay. And what kind of difficulties did it present as a child into adolescence? What kind of feelings? I can imagine, but for the listeners' sake, what was that like? And I know that's a loaded question, so however you want to.
Just growing up blind. What was that like? Visually impaired, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, as a kid in Houston, you want to play ball and you want to do all these things. What was like the most prominent difficulties and then the most rewarding perseverance?
Well, I tell you what, man. You know, the one thing that that's always got me, and one thing I don't know where it came from, but you know, I just never let it get me down. And I shouldn't say that I never. I mean, because everybody has their time, right? But it hadn't ever impacted me enough to where it just made me want to stop trying. And I mean, of course, you know, I was, you know, bullied when I was younger, dealt with, you know, embarrassing moments in class because of, you know, my vision loss, you know, teachers taking things too far, almost being smart asses or whatever. I mean, I've dealt with a lot of embarrassing things and, you know, and through going to school and outside of school, but I just always found a way to just deal with it and move on. And you know, I just always felt that no matter what I wanted to do in life, I had to work twice as hard in order to get it. And I knew what it was going to take for me to do it. So I if I wanted it, I had to go get it. And you know, yeah, you know, you're gonna fail. You know, you're gonna fall, but you know, you got to get back up. And so, you know, that's just the mentality that I've carried my whole life is if you want it, you got to go get it. You know, don't be afraid to fail. You know, that actually that's when, you know, you learn the most sometimes. So, you know, just stick with it, you know. So
What a damn answer. You know, the reason I ask that question, and pretty much everyone I've ever done this type of thing with, because I have done this prior to the Heat Index. And the reason I ask is largely for me. Um, no, not entirely for me. It's good, you know, it's for content and for the listeners because I think these are all inspiring stories, but they inspire me. And you just said a lot of things there that I will take, and just like Ja'Cory said a lot of things that I will take, and Joseph, former teammates, and that's not, you know, and it's not just in a podcast setting, but this does allow me to get you folks to elaborate on it, and it gets me the time to really think and give my gratitude for it in a, you know, in a more contrived manner. So, um, long way of saying thank you for sharing that, because that is super powerful stuff. You know, I mean, it's because you know, I don't mean to be self-deprecating or you know, hate on my transition or my process here, but I've not handled it the way I think I could have. But I'm where I am now, and there were a lot of failures along the way. And what you just did for me was allow me to realize I can learn from that. Does that, you know what I mean? Does that make sense? I can learn from those failures.
yeah, oh yeah, definitely.
Oh yeah, man, that's awesome. How long have you been playing beat baseball? You know, I'm dating you, man. I'm sorry.
About 20 years. About 20 years.
20 years. How did you find out about beat baseball? Was it something you knew about, or what's that story?
No, I had no idea. I used to go to an after-school program here in Houston at the Lighthouse of Houston, and you know, Daryl and I were teenagers. You know, Daryl, and I don't remember, you know, who told us about it, or if, like, some of the players went to the after-school program or whatever. But they were like, "Hey, you know, you guys should come out and check out the beat baseball and see what that's like." And we're like, "What's that?" And so we go check it out, and man, you know, the first time I put on that blindfold, I was scared shitless, man. I was scared, but you know, it's like it was something that was really cool about it. It was like, oh man, this is awesome. This is different, you know, and you know, I just got hooked from that first practice, you know, and it just progressed from there.
Dude, I can hear it in your voice, man. I could hear you beaming when you said, like, you know, when you described the awkwardness of putting on a blindfold, because I can relate to that. And because, you know, you know, I know you have some functional vision, and as do I. So it is
Hmm.
an awkward, like, equilibrium shift when you when you put that blindfold on. But then when you told me, you know, you know, that first, like, feeling of like, wow, there's something cool about this. I could hear you beaming, like, through the mic. So that's that's awesome. And this is in the like the mid to late 90s.
No, man, thank you. No, man, I said teenager. This is in the late '80s.
No, 90. I said 90s. I said 90s. You know, come on. I'm not gonna dog you like that.
No, I know. I'm just messing with you, man.
Uh,
I was a teenager in the late '80s, and that's
oh, this
when
was.
I started. I believe it was '89.
Oh,
My first tournament was Topeka, Kansas.
holy smokes. So,
Yeah.
wow, so you are a chiseled vet. You like so I already knew that, but you've been doing this for a long time. Wealth of experience and a wealth of knowledge. That's why I gotta take what you have to offer me as far as knowledge and skills go and be a sponge. Um, what was I gonna ask? I'm having a bit of a brain fart. Oh, were they the Bayou City Heat when
Uh,
you first joined?
no, they were the Bayou Bombers.
Bayou Bombers. So it's the same program or no?
Technically, yes, because Michael was a part of. Michael Garrett.
Yes, I do.
He was he was a player back then.
I've
Him
heard.
and a bunch of other guys, uh, that are still affiliated with the team. Doc Bradley, and there was another guy that we had. He was an awesome defender. His name was Juan Moreno. And then of course it was Daryl, and it was me, and there was a couple other guys, that we went to school with that were there that kind of played for a little while. So we had a good mix of veterans and youth on those teams.
So you got in the vault any of those like Bayou Bomber, jerseys, T-shirts, whatever the hell it was?
Dude, I have two of the original jerseys still.
Oh my God, you're gonna have to show me that. Send me a snapshot, something, man. I need that.
I'll send you some pictures, man. And they look just like, especially the first one, the original one, looks just like something you would see in the '80s. Like the old San Diego Padre uniforms with the yellow and the brown. They look like that. They're yellow and blue.
So it's retro. Okay. That's oh my God. I'm so thrilled to know that those are, floating around somewhere. So that's you gotta show me. I mean so is that like that's gotta be a neat memento for you, like something sort of a something to put away in the memory box, right?
Oh yeah, definitely, man. You never forget it, man. I mean, when I first got introduced, I didn't say this earlier, but I played for 5 years and I took a break. So that's why maybe the timeline was kind of thrown off a little bit. I played for 5 years, took a 10-year break, and then I came back in 2002.
Okay. Okay. Now what was that, just like life stuff, like just starting a family and everything?
Yeah, well, no, still again too young.
Right, yeah,
No,
just yeah,
there
yeah,
was
I just
there was a lot going on, man. I went to school and I didn't realize that I could still play for the team when I was away at college. So, I just ended up taking that time off and whenever we decided to move back in 2002, that was one of the first things I did when I came back. I was like, hey man, I want to see if they're still playing and I can't remember who I got in contact with. I don't know, it was with Mike Garrett or I don't remember who, but they were like, yeah, come on out, and then still practice on the same day, same time, same everything. And I was like, cool. So, came back in 2002.
that's awesome. Dude, this is so cool, like, to hear the story of the program and stuff. So
Hmm.
our head coach is JC. He's my age. My understanding is he took over a handful of years ago as the head coach, but he's been around for
Hmm.
a lot longer than that. So you've probably gotten to watch him grow, right?
I've, say that again.
You've probably gotten to watch JC kind of grow as a man, as a coach, as all of this. Is that fair to say?
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, man. To see where he was, to see where he's at now, it's pretty awesome, man. That's a good guy right there, man.
Oh man, he's one of the easiest dudes to talk to. You know what I mean? As a player coach relationship, or just as a man to man friend relationship. So you're damn right about that. Um, what's cool about that to me, or like it's awfully cool to have any coach or volunteer or whatever we call them. I choose to call most of them coaches because I just that's what it is. But um, JC didn't really have a tie to it as far as a like a blind relative or anything like that. Speak to that, like commitment and that dedication, because to me that is just one of the most impressive things I could ever think of.
Yeah, to see how he came in and to see where he came from and like you said it right there, the commitment. That guy puts forth all his effort into this team, and he spreads this himself thin sometimes, man. But he gives all his effort to this team to do the best job that he can for us, to help us out, be where to do whatever we need to do. I mean, he gives of himself so much, and you can't ask for any more than that. That guy, he's just totally appreciative of everything he does, not only for me, but what he does for the team.
What is it like
Very so thankful.
What is it like to go from young blood to sort of a veteran leadership role? Because I mean, you have the player coach title, so what is that transition, or what the formation from like one role to another while still maintaining a player first role? What is that like? I can't even think.
Well, the best way for me to answer it is that the first thought in my mind whenever I think about beat ball is I still want to play. No matter what, that's what I want to do in that capacity. If JC asks me questions, or if any of the players ask me questions or for advice, man, I'll give the best answer I can, and help out in any regard that I can. I just I will you can pick my brain. I can show you whatever needs to be done. I'm learning these defenses that we've been running the past couple of years. I'm trying to learn those in order to help people better understand what's going on. Just whatever way that I can help out, whether it's as a player, as a coach, as a friend, just whatever is needed, man. I just want to do whatever I can for the team.
No, you do. That's what one of the things I respect the most about you, in the beat ball setting. I respect a lot of the things off the field, significantly more just because of the human thing that I, just value. But, you get to know how we are as competitors, and then I get the privilege of knowing you people and my teammates, my Heat family and my beat ball family as people, as individuals. And that's why I love doing this. That's one of the reasons anyway.
Mm-hmm.
So, man, you've been doing this for such a long time, and you still got it. You listen to those. I mean, I'm gonna, cue the "you still got it." You know what I mean? Dude, I watched. In that last game, man. Of the tournament. We were probably really playing for pride at that point, and hell, I mean, I was proud of how we competed. But you and I both had to, come out with some some dings, and and that's cool because it gives other people an opportunity to get in and contribute and stuff. So all I know though is I remember less of my play in that game and more of your pops, man. Like you poked those things. I think one of them was right up the middle. I don't know. You just got this like left-handed power bat, and it's like so valuable. How long can you do this, or does that thought even cross your mind?
It doesn't really cross my mind, but realistically, in my mind, I'm going to tell myself I'm going to play as long as I can. But to be like I guess a valuable asset to the team that can play multiple games over the course of a tournament, I probably have, I don't know, maybe 3 to 5 years left in me. That's my guess. I mean, and depending on how well I take care of myself, that maybe can be extended. But yeah. I don't want to be one of those guys that's going to overstay his welcome. But I see myself being a part of this team in other capacities, other ways. So it's not like once I'm done, I'm done. I love the sport that much that like you said, whether it's a coach or a volunteer or whatever the case may be, any way that I can help out, I see myself being a part of this team.
Yeah, so you're not just gonna retire right off into the sunset. You're gonna stay involved.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, in some form, some way.
That's what's up, man. I'm so glad to hear that. I want to win That's what I want to do. What can we do, or what do we need to do to get that job done? What as a team unit, what can we do? What do we need to do to get to that next level? Because we're knocking on the door.
Oh man, uh, for me, I think it comes down to consistency. Uh, because even though we got seventh place this year, this is the most competitive that we have been against the top teams in recent years. Yes, we placed higher, and but when you look at the team, when you look at the Taiwan game and you look at the Indianapolis game, those two games, those are the most competitive games, especially against Taiwan. Most
Oh, for
competitive
sure.
games that we've had against them in years, and because it was close, in the sixth inning, we could have won, and I think that's where the consistency comes back in. Being more consistent with their swings, being being helping Fonzie out, just to help Fonzie out, and then and defensively, again, we were good, we were really good, and it's just every once in a while, those balls get through that shouldn't get through because man, the hard shots, those are going to be 50-50 or less, but getting the ones that you're supposed to get, which we did a much better job of that this year. We just have to continue to build on that. I really think that we have the players to do it. With some recent things that have gone on, it's going to hurt just a little bit, but I think in the end, we're going to compete and we're going to be just as strong as we were this year.
You know what, we by now, if the listeners are listening, they know what you're talking about, and we don't need to expand on it. What I would say is that we'll rally around each other, and we got a hell of a defender with a hell of a reputation back in Blake, and
Of course.
I'm looking so forward to getting on the field with that gentleman, because I'm getting to know him, and he's just a fun guy to chat with, and he's also a wrestling fan, so I hope I'm not outing him or anything, but hey, it is what it is.
You just did, yeah.
I said earlier, buzz off, guys. Like what we like, no, but he's cool, and I know he is, but no. So just on the field stuff, man, I'm just looking forward to what we have going here and what you guys have developed for a long time, and what I get a chance to be a part of, because I became a better ball player, and that's just in one tournament, you know what I mean? And I plan on doing what I've been doing all off season, which is busting my butt and getting into even better shape, getting stronger, and taking the advice from my teammates and my coaching staff. But one dude we got to talk about real quick, because he's another guy that really, may have had an initial reason to come in as far as another person in his life, but to stick around as long as he did and make people like me a better ball player. I'd never faced this guy. Second pitcher I'd ever really faced, and I go 7 for 12 in the World Series. That's not about me. That's about him. Talk about Fonzie, man.
Mm-hmm.
How good he is.
Oh man, I have so many stories to tell you about that guy, but
Let's do it.
But the one thing that I can just tell you is that he is just, like JC, man, he gives it his all on that field, to where he's just drained by the end of that tournament. He puts forth so much effort to do the best job that he can for us, and that just kind of speaks back to what kind of person he is, man. He just he's caring, he's giving, he wants us. He doesn't want it for himself. He wants it for us. Of course, he's putting forth that effort, right? But he wants to do it for us. And I could sit here and tell you so many things about the guy, but just to see everything that he's gone through over the years, man, it's just I wouldn't want any other pitcher on my team, man. That's just the way I feel.
From playing for another program, I tried to learn about this league, because it's so important to me, and the game, and I'm by no means a savant or a historian, but I do pride myself on the knowledge I do have. But he's a name that always came up, and it was like, mm-hmm. It was him and who is it, Simpson, is that right?
Yeah. Kevin.
There's a couple other pitchers that are really that are brought up in the conversation, but he was always a name I heard, and then I get to go, I guess you just don't know what you don't know, and then I go, for my money, he's the best pitcher in the league, and that's not to dog any pitchers I've had or haven't had, or I'm just saying I've never seen someone tell me that I don't need to change a thing. I'll do it.
Right. Like, yeah. And that's the thing. That's the thing that makes him so amazing, is that he'll adapt to you. So what's one of the things that I've seen for other pitchers in the league, where they make you change your swing in order to be more consistent.
Sure.
This guy, he as long as you openly communicate with him, be like, hey man, I'm comfortable with this, and this. I can do this. He'll be like, all right, give me what you got. Give me the best swing you got. And of course, he'll give you recommendations. Hey, let's try this. Let's do that. But ultimately, it's what makes you feel comfortable in order to make you more consistent and for him to be a better pitcher. That's it.
Oh, there's no question, man. I mean, I'm hitting 150-foot bombs because, I took a friggin' Greyhound down there. I was not in pristine condition by any means. I had a hell of an off season prior to the season, and I wasn't at my best. Yet I go out there and I feel best about my performance that I had in my entire beat baseball career. Again, that is about the program, and specifically when it comes to being at the dish, that is a commentary on how good he is. So for my money, he is and just as a young man, I mean, a family man, a God-fearing man. I mean, it's just an unbelievable dude to get to know, and it's just like so much fun. And I roomed with him, and it's just I'm eager to do this for years to come with people like, well, with every one of you guys, and he's just he's just near the top of the list because he's just so cool and just so nice, and you couldn't have said it better, or I couldn't have said it better. I mean, oh boy, man, we are so lucky. I am so lucky. What you guys did for me, and and I don't know when I'll ever stop saying this, and I don't think I ever will. But it's just because it's so damn true and so damn personal to me, is that I didn't have a direction. I didn't know what my future held in this sport. All I knew is I wanted to play, and I wanted to be a part of something that was bigger than me, even if at times my actions didn't prove that, because it's hard to not be self-absorbed when you think the world is revolving around you. I no longer think that, and I do want to help this team not only win but just grow. And I want to keep this program sustainable, because it's given me so much in just such a short period of time that I will forever be trying to repay that. And specifically you, Ian, I look up to you. I've totally vibed with you. We have common interests. We have interests that maybe aren't so common, and it does not matter because you treat me like one of the boys, like your family member, and that's really, really cool. How has that culture always been that way? Because I mean, it's just something that, or did it materialize over time? Like, what gives? Why are you guys so awesome?
Well, it's funny. I really think that, it's just something that's been a part of this team for a while. I mean, because I'm sitting here thinking back, since I came back in 2002, and we had a lot of the same players that are still here back then, and we've just grown together, and and the great thing is that we're friends off the field, not just on the field. It's not just business. We get along with each other, and that's what just I think just builds the relationship, on the field, and that we're friends on and off the field, and I've seen a number of players, just put forth all the efforts they can, while they're out there, and I think it's just something that comes from the top down. JC, he's a big family man. Fonzie's a big family man. I'm a big family man. Daryl. I mean, you look at all these guys, and we've been together for so long. It's just something that's just kind of who we are. That's kind of almost like part of our identity. We're very welcoming. You know, if you the bottom line is that if you come in and you want to be a part of this team and you just show that, you know, you're willing to put forth the effort, you know, there's not going to be a problem.
Yeah.
You know, we accept anyone and everyone.
I can speak to that, you know, because especially the welcoming part, man. You know, not to be a broken record, but what you did for me, it's just so valuable, and it'll be something I cherish and for a very long time, and I will not take for granted. You have my word that I'm going to do whatever I can to be positive for this team, and that's just a promise that I want to keep and will keep, because it's something you guys have already kept for me. You know, so I think we have the ingredients. You know, I think putting it all together is a different story. I know we're capable of putting them all together, but we got the perfect mixture of young blood, veteran leadership. We got we got some amazing coaches and volunteers, family atmosphere.
Best pitcher in the league. I mean, the list goes on. We have a lot that you know that will continue to you know, that will continues to make us strong. You know that. So I think our time is coming, man. Yeah,
I would say I don't know if I should say this, but I'm gonna, because I'm impulsive. I would tell the Indy Thunder that their time is up. Our time is now.
Our time is now.
or in, like, I don't know, 8 months. But I'm just kidding. They're just, you know, I'm obviously just kidding when I bring them up. It's a way of saying, like, there's so much talent in this league. And,
oh, definitely.
You know, they're the 2-time defending champs. So to beat the man, we're gonna have to, you know, to be the man. We're gonna have to beat the man.
You got to beat the man. Yep.
You know, I just relish in the opportunity to be able to go back to, you know, this year it'll be in Wisconsin, you know, and I want to go prove ourselves, and no matter what the outcome is, how about heads held high, because I know it was you know, it sucked. It sucks losing, but
it's horrible.
But you know, my takeaway from what you said in this interview was that, you know, we got a lot to build on, you know, and
oh yeah, we do.
It's just so cool to have the opportunity to be part of something special. So let's just go get it, man. Like, we gotta work hard on and off the field, stay true to who we are. I'm going to keep letting you guys rub off on me, because you've had a positive influence on my life. I hope that I can be a positive influence in yours, and I want to win, and I know we can, and I know we will, and I am going to be so honored to do that by your side and by the rest of the Heat side. So, you know, I can't thank you enough for coming on, man. I'm gonna end on that positive note, because I want to win, and I want to just tell you, Shelly, LJ, the rest of the Heat, man, you guys are the best. I love you, and thank you so much for coming on, spend the time. I know it's late, and we all got our lives and work, man. I appreciate it. Lee, can we do it again sometime?
Yeah, man, definitely.
All right, man. Enjoy the rest of the off season. Stop kicking my ass and everyone else's ass in fantasy football, and good luck. I had to get it in there. Good luck into the playoffs. Folks, please, thank you so much for joining. Subscribe on Apple Podcasts. Go to buzzsprout.com, search for the Heat Index. You know, there's just so much to look forward to in 2018. Enjoy your holidays, and we will see you next time with my to-be-determined guest. Until then, have a great one, and goodbye.